Yo, what's up, bro? So in this video I will be talking about diet, bulking, cutting, and just overall what foods to eat, what foods to avoid, what supplements to take. So my first point is going to be to eat real whole foods. I want you to eat real whole foods if you want to get big, if you want to get results, and if you want to feel good mentally, because I know a lot of people are saying online to just count your macros, eat a lot of carbs, just count the protein, carbs, and the fats, and you'll be good to go. You can eat the junk food, you can eat that garbage cereal which has a lot of sugar, but it has carbs, so it's good, right? No, no. If you eat those foods will cause you to have acne. You can see on my face, I barely have any acne now because I don't really eat any processed foods. Sometimes I cheat on my diet because I am cutting now. And yeah, of course, I'm not perfect. Sometimes I cheat on my diet. But what I usually like to do is that I like to have my foods 85-90% of good food, or sometimes maybe 85 or 80% good food, and the other 15-20% is junk food. So yeah, I think that is a good to bad food ratio to have. Maybe you can lower the good food or up the bad food if you've been just starting out. Because I think that if you've been eating junk food your whole entire life, you shouldn't just make the quick change to from one day to another, just eat completely healthy. I wish that you could do that, but most people don't have the discipline and the willpower. Let's just think about it. If you've been eating junk food your whole entire life and you watch a motivational video like this, I'm telling you to eat clean, most likely it will take more than that, not just watching a video. So what I want you to do is, most likely you know the concept progressive overloading. I want you to do progressive overloading on eating. So just start eating. Let's say you're eating now 80% junk food. Let's say the next week you are eating 70% junk food. The week after that you're eating 60%, 50, 40, 30, and after some weeks you are at 20% junk food or 15, and then you are just about good to go. If you want to go even lower to minimize junk food and maybe even cut it out completely, then you can do that. I am not at that level yet. Sometimes I eat junk food, but as I said, around 10 or 15% of my calories come from junk food, so most of it is clean. And yeah, I would suggest you to do the same thing eventually. But if you are just starting out, then I want you to progressively underload the bad food that you're eating. So yeah, and you guys might ask me what real foods to eat and what does whole and real foods actually mean. It means eating eggs, it means eating a lot of meat. You can eat some vegetables. Vegetables are not that important in my opinion. You can have like 10 or 15% vegetables. The rest of it can be meat and fats and some carbs for energy, like before workout or something like that. You can even try doing keto where you don't eat carbs. I tried that. It did not work that well for me, but maybe it's different for you. So just try experimenting on what's the best diet plan for you. But that's basically it about eating real foods. Now let's get to the main point: cutting, bulking, main gaining. What should you do? And I would suggest you to do bulk and cuts because, in my opinion, bulking and cutting is more effective for muscle growth. Some people like to say main gaining is more effective, like Coach Greg, TNF, and some guys like that. And these guys might be actually right because main gaining can work to build a lot of muscle, but I prefer to see bigger changes in my physiques. That's maybe just because I'm not patient enough to see the slow and steady progress of building lean muscle, but I prefer to do bulk and cuts because it's more interesting. I can challenge my body to sometimes eat a lot and sometimes not eat a lot, and it's just more fun for me and more challenging. And I do think that you can build actually even more muscle when you are in a bulking phase because all of those extra calories can help you build a lot of extra muscle as well. And of course, if you are doing like an extreme bulk, as I did, then of course you are not only going to gain muscle but a lot of fat and water as well. But once you cut down that water and fat will come right off you, and you will see that you added a lot of extra lean muscle tissue, just as I have. If you're doing everything right, you will not regret bulking. Just make sure that you don't dirty bulk, you don't eat a lot of junk food basically, and a lot of empty calories like with these mass gainer shakes. A lot of people buy these mass gainers, and I don't think that is very beneficial. You can drink like mass gainers and things like that, but only after you actually ate some real whole foods. I don't think mass gainers and like these online meal replacement supplements are actually beneficial. They can be okay if you are eating whole foods next to these supplements, but if you want to only eat mass gainers and these meal replacements supplements, that will not work out. I suggest that if you are bulking, you should eat a lot of oats, peanut butter, a lot of high calorie dense foods, and yeah, just whole foods, eggs, high fat meats, and yeah. And if you are cutting, then I would suggest that you keep 200 or 300 calorie deficit, or maybe even 400 or 500. And the same goes for bulking. When I was bulking, I did more of like, as I said, an extreme bulk. I kept like 1,000 calories surplus. But when you are cutting, I would suggest to keep 300 or 400 calories deficit, or maybe even 400 or 500 if you are doing it a bit more extreme. Anything above 500 calorie deficit will cause you to maybe lose some muscle. Not necessarily, but if you have a deficit that's like 750 or 1,000, then you will most likely lose some muscle. Not necessarily that much. If you eat a lot of protein, then you can minimize the amount of muscle that you lose during a cut. But yeah, one last thing before I end this video is to always count your calories, what you are eating. Some guys might ask me, well, how do you count your calories? Because it seems so hard, and my mom makes a big meal. How do I know all the calories that she put in that meal? And there's a simple answer to this. Over time, when you're guessing how much calories you're eating, if you're doing it for long enough, you will get better. And in the first few weeks, counting calories will be very hard and it will be difficult, but over time, if you do it more and more, it will get easier. But for me, I can just look at some food and I can almost certainly say that this food has this many calories, that food has that many calories, and that is no magic. This is just because I've had a lot of experience trying to guess my food, and I've gotten a lot better at this. So yeah, over time you will get better. Just try counting the calories. You don't have to use a calorie counting app. If you want to, then go ahead, but personally I never use the calorie counting app. I just wrote it in my notes and I added the calories up to see what I was eating in a day. So yeah. Okay guys, thank you for watching the video. I did not went into extreme details here. I just wanted to say to you guys the basics about cutting, bulking, and just eating raw whole foods. And no, please don't eat junk foods, don't eat processed foods, because it might not seem like a big deal, but it is a big deal mentally and physically. It does not affect you well eating processed foods and eating junk foods. So please eat clean foods and just try progressively underloading the bad foods and yeah, basically the bad things that you put into your mouth. Just please try to reduce it, and yeah, you will get better. And thank you for watching the video, and see you guys next time. So goodbye.